I can understand English, but I can't speak it fluently. Hello, students, and welcome back to my channel. Does this sound familiar to you? Many of you have told me, I can understand English, but I can't speak it fluently. I receive numerous emails and questions from students expressing this same concern. Do you feel like you've spent countless hours, days, or even years studying English, only to find that when it's time to speak, you go blank? The words don't come out, you forget all your grammar, stumble over your pronunciation, and your vocabulary seems to vanish. To go down the drain is an idiom meaning to disappear. If this resonates with you, this lesson is designed to help. I'll show you practical ways to overcome these struggles and build your confidence in speaking English fluently. Before we dive into why this happens, because understanding the root cause is essential to finding a solution, let's also work on improving your listening skills, pronunciation, and vocabulary throughout this video. By the end, you can test your understanding, and I encourage you to ask any questions in the comments. Now, let's address the question. Why do so many students feel they can understand English but can't speak it fluently when the moment comes? This issue is largely due to the difference between receptive skills, listening and reading, and productive skills, speaking. Most English learners focus heavily on language input, like watching movies, YouTube videos, TV shows, and listening to English podcasts. They read books in English, immersing themselves in the language. This is fantastic and should not be stopped as it helps build vocabulary and understanding of how the language works. However, this doesn't necessarily improve your fluency in speaking, because speaking requires active participation and practice. We need a balance between input and output, but finding opportunities for language output can be more challenging. It's not easy to visit an English-speaking country, find a personal tutor, or meet an English-speaking friend. This is why I often meet students who are grammar experts, with knowledge surpassing that of many native speakers, yet they struggle with speaking. They understand the theory but falter in practical situations. Today, I have 6 practical tips for you to improve your spoken English. The first tip is completely free. Talk to yourself. This is something I did actively while learning Spanish. One of the simplest ways to increase your output is to talk to yourself, and you can start right now. It might feel strange at first, but it's incredibly effective for improving fluency and fluidity. Most of us have an inner voice that talks in our native language. Try giving this voice an English alter ego. If you can't find that inner voice, speak out loud, I am watching TV, I am washing the dishes, I am picking up the plate, I am scrubbing it with a sponge, I hope my husband brings home pizza for dinner. Speaking out loud is crucial because you need to practice forming new sounds and feeling how words are produced in your mouth. Narrating in your head is a good start and useful if you're around other people, but speaking out loud will significantly increase your use of English daily. This is especially helpful if you don't have anyone to practice speaking with and can't afford a tutor. To enhance this practice and boost your vocabulary, keep a vocabulary diary. Back in the day, I recommended writing new words in a notebook. Nowadays, you can use apps or your smartphone's notes feature. For example, if I'm learning Italian and don't know the word for traffic light, I'd ask Siri to add it to my notes and set a reminder to review it later. This low-effort method helps you expand your vocabulary with words you encounter daily. Remember to practice using these new words in sentences out loud. Moving on to tip number 2. Talk to a tutor. While self-practice is valuable, speaking with a tutor has distinct advantages. First, you can direct the conversation and rehearse situations where you previously struggled, such as explaining your job at a networking event. A tutor can correct your grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and overall clarity, providing targeted feedback in a safe and supportive environment. Finding the right tutor can be daunting, especially if you're worried about wasting money on a bad match. This is where platforms like LanguaTalk come in handy. They have a rigorous screening process for tutors, offer filtering options by availability, location, price, and motivation, and most importantly, they provide free trial sessions. This way, you can ensure the tutor is a good fit before committing. Tip number 3 involves writing. Prepare for conversations by writing down what you plan to say and practice it aloud. Think about common questions or topics like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do for a living?" Craft an elevator pitch for these scenarios, write it down, and practice it. This exercise builds confidence and prepares you for real-life situations. You can also present these written answers to your tutor for feedback. Tip number 4 is crucial. Focus on fluency, not perfection. Aim to be understood rather than being a grammar expert. Mistakes are a natural part of learning, and avoiding speaking out of fear of making them will limit your progress. Embrace the opportunity to learn from mistakes and, if possible, have a sense of humor about them. Some of my best stories in Spanish come from mistakes I made while learning. It's important to record your errors and review them to learn and improve. Tip number 5 is shadowing. This technique involves imitating native speakers by repeating what they say, mimicking their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It's a powerful way to develop your muscle memory for forming sounds and understanding natural speech patterns. If this method appeals to you, let me know in the comments, and I can create a lesson specifically on shadowing. Finally, tip number 6. Record yourself speaking. Hearing yourself speak in English can be surprising and revealing. It's a valuable way to become comfortable with your voice and identify areas for improvement. Record a frequently asked question, like a self-introduction, save it, and then revisit it a year later to track your progress. This exercise is a fantastic benchmark to measure your growth over time. So, that's it for today's lesson. It was a long one, perfect for practicing your listening skills. Please, take this challenge to heart, and let me know in a year how much you've improved. See you in the next lesson.